Hey guys, it's Ajax from Team High Society here again, and this will be part 3 of Build a Quad series. And this is where we've gone so far. Part 1 was the power system, which consisted of the motors, ESCs, and PDB. Part 2 was the brains, or the electronics, which is basically the flight controller, the receiver, and the last part here, part 3, is going to be the FPV side, or the video transmitting side. And what the pieces that make that up are a video transmitter and a camera. And basically, do a little drawing here of how they need to be connected. So we have the camera here, and we have the video transmitter here, and we can have a little antenna here. And basically, both of these have 3 wires that we're concerned with. Positive, negative, and video. So we look at the camera here. We've got 3 colors: black, red, and yellow. That's pretty obvious. Positive, negative, and video. We look over here at this luminaire transmitter. We have 3 colors: red, black, and yellow. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the video from the camera, run it straight over to the video of the video transmitter, and then we're going to connect the positive and negative of both of the camera and this to the PDB. So if you recall on this, we'll move the flight controller back here just a little bit. On the PDB here, we had some extra pads that, in this case, since this will be running 4S, are 16 volt. And the camera here can take 5 to 22 volt, and this can take 7 to 19 volt. So that means we can run, these 2 can connect directly to these last set of pads here, and then we'll just solder the video together, and that's really all there is to it. Now what you need to decide on your own here is how all of this stuff is going to fit in your frame. Now this particular frame has these little A-frames here that mount on the front, which hold the camera. So I won't put it in, I'll have to get the screws and set that in. Basically, those little A-frames hold the camera up front there. And here's the back plate of the Atlas. And you can see it has a hole in it. And basically, I'm just going to mount this video transmitter straight through this hole and use this washer and nut to hold it in place. So basically, when the top sits on just like that, Video transmitter will be right there, and I'll be able to, in this case, push this button to change the band on it. Now, you can mount your video transmitter in many different ways. It's really just up to how much space you have, the configuration of the frame. You know, does it have a hole that you can mount it directly? You know, do you have the space that you can put a pigtail on there? But I highly suggest that however you mount it, you either use some kind of pigtail, or you use like a hole in this case that you can use. You can physically mount this connector to a piece of carbon fiber, because when you crash your video transmitter antenna, it may be flexible, but almost no matter how you crash, unless it's like that, it's going to be upside down, and you're going to be landing on that antenna, and it's going to put a lot of stress on this connector. Now, this connector is bolted to this carbon fiber plate. If you hit hard enough, it'll break the plate, but more than likely it'll just, you know, bend the cable, and it won't damage this transmitter. And that's the same thing if you use a pigtail. You know, you'd mount the pigtail to the carbon fiber so that it will take the brunt of the force of a crash. So, you know, it's up to you. Again, it depends on the frame, how much space, and the configuration, whether or not you can mount it like this. But this is how, in a nutshell, I'm going to mount all my stuff for this particular build. And like I said, it's pretty simple. 3 wires on both sides, positive, negative, and video. And we've got that one set of pads left that we can connect both of the power wires to, and then that video wire is just going to run underneath the PDB in this case. One thing to consider, if you're getting some interference in your video when you're flying, it could be that this video wire is running too close to one of the ESCs, or too close to any of these big power wires. So usually I don't have any trouble just running the video close to the frame and underneath the PDB. However, your mileage may vary. If not, you may want to keep the video close to the top plate, so you can wire the power in there, but keep the video close to the top. You'll just have to find out what works for you. You know, part of building quads is, you know, cutting and soldering. So if it doesn't work the first time, just cut it and try it somewhere else. Okay, well, I'm going to get started on this. While the soldering iron's heating up, this is a Foxier XAT600M, but the more popular name for this is the HS 1177. It's kind of the standard 600 TV line, just the most common FPV camera that we've got at the moment. I think they work great. Use them in almost everything. They're made. Foxier isn't the only one, but you know, $28, something like that a piece. And I really like the form factor and the fact that you can mount them using these little things on the side with these little A-frames or little side skirts that are built into most frames now. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and tin these wires real quick. Push the layers and tin the pads on the PDU. Okay, a little difficult to get everything in there. It's getting kind of tight for space, but we're all set. So I'm just going to route these to the back. I'll be able to finish the connections. stuff. Everything's finally soldered. I'm going to take these little M3 nuts and I'm actually going to secure this flight controller to the top of the PDB. And there we have it, guys. Just some finishing touches here on routing the cables so everything's out of the way. I'll solder up these 3 wires, this little pigtail, and then final assembly, putting everything together. So I'll be back when we're ready to put the top on. Okay guys, it's we've got the top plate on here, and the Atlas 180 is now in its final form. I've actually had this out and been flying with it a couple of times since the build, but I wanted to get some video and some pictures of what the final product looks like. So I'll just hold it up here so that it's a little closer. You can see we got the top plate on, got the camera mounted on the A-frames in the front like we discussed. We've got the video transmitter mounted in the back here. Let's see. No, it's kind of hard to see. I'll see if I can get some pictures. But that's pretty much what the build looks like once you put the top on and you're ready to fly. Again, the specs on this are that we're using 4x4 5 bullnose, or 4x4 5x3 bullnose dowel props, 1806 2300 kV motors, little B 20 amp ESCs, Lux flight controller, basic PDB. For power, we're either running these little 4S 1000 bolts, or let's see, got it around here somewhere, or we're testing out the new graphene batteries. To be honest, with the amp draw on this setup, there's no reason to go with this graphene battery. It weighs more and is bigger for the same size bolt battery. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. I'll get some pictures up and then ask any questions that you've got, and soon we'll post up some flight video with this thing. I can tell you, this thing is super agile. It's got plenty of power. It's just lots and lots of fun to fly. I really enjoy flying this quad in this size. I was a little skeptical of the sub 200 size, and it's turned out to be a lot of fun and really a fulfilling build, and just super fun to fly. So alright guys, please like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about our build videos and what you'd like to see next. Want to see something big, some big motors? Want to see something smaller? We got the new Connex HD system coming out, or that they're talking about. You interested in that? Maybe some video comparisons between the GoPro Session and other cameras. Let us know what you think. Once again, thanks a lot.